Let the word go forth from this time and place to friend and foe alike that the torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans.
That was President John F. Kennedy's famous 1961 inaugural address, and now, more than 60 years later, his grandson is hoping he is now that new generation. In fact, new generation is a term Jack Schlossberg used in a conversation I had with him about his decision to run for Congress in New York's 12th district, where he grew up. Here's what he said in a social media video formally announcing his candidacy.
250 years after America was founded and our country is at a turning point. It's a crisis at every level. We deserve better, and we can do better. And it starts with the Democratic Party winning back control of the House of Representatives.
Schlossberg is JFK's first direct descendant to run for elected office. My panel is back with me now, including Shane Goldmacher of the New York Times, who happens to be in New York City. Shane, what's your sense of how this race is going to shape up? I should note, as I come to you, that Schlossberg is just the latest in a pretty crowded field of Democrats running in this primary for this coveted seat that is now held by Jerry Nadler. He's retiring.
Yeah, I mean, I think he is going to be a test of the attention economy and how important can it be to get attention, because he's not just famous and has famous lineage, but his whole shtick has been getting attention on the internet. He spoke with Maureen Dowd, my columnist colleague, and he gave just, I think, one of the all-time great descriptions of the modern internet. He said, if somebody thinks I'm crazy because they've seen one of my videos, that means they've seen my videos, right? He is going to get attention in this race. I think the question is, there is a demand for a new generation of leadership, as he's talking about, as JFK talked about years and years ago. The question is, are people looking for like the next generation, literally, of existing Democratic leaders? Because we have this question coming up all over the country. Here in New York, in California, where Nancy Pelosi is retiring, her daughter says she's going to run for state Senate in that same area. In New Hampshire, where one of the Democrats who just struck this deal to reopen the government is Jeanne Shaheen, her daughter also running for Congress, right? All over the country, this interpretation, the next generation means literally my children. That's a big question for Democratic voters next year.
No, that's such a good point. And there are younger people who are in this particular primary already, as an example, who work for, like Michael Lasher. He is somebody who worked for Jerry Nadler. He's in the next generation, but he's definitely been part of the Democratic system there. You mentioned the videos. So I like to sort of think about, did my parents see these things, and do we need to show them? And the answer is no and yes. And before we do, I'll just give you another quote that Jack Schlossberg gave when I spoke with him about this yesterday. He said, in this toxic media environment we're in, I breathe that air. So that's where he's coming from. Here's a little bit of a montage of him on TikTok.
Newsflash! Republicans are lying.
Hey, JD. It's me. I'm at the pump. And you're the one guy I know who can give me some relief here at this pump.
It's possible that Trump is trying to crash the economy on purpose.
Dear President Putin, every child shares the same quiet dreams in their heart.
Why do I have this stuffed animal? Why do I have these stuffed animals?
I was a bad boy this weekend. I did some really bad stuff. I can't wait to tell you guys about it.
Tia Mitchell?
I mean, on one hand, I find it that I think this is where our politics is going, quite frankly. We've got a lot of elected officials who are taking the reins of social media, using it to build their platform, build their influence, build a base, and then launch a political career. So he's not the first to take this model and run with it. I think it'll be up to the people of New York to decide, in a very crowded Democratic field, who they want to represent them in this safe Democratic district. So, you know, I don't think it's as alarming. To me, even the whole family dynasty thing, Kennedy is a very strong brand. It's part of the reason why his cousin RFK Jr. was able to ascend to the cabinet. You know what I mean? And American politics is full of family dynasties, quite frankly, down to even the local granular level. Every city or county has a family name that has been in politics for forever. So even that to me, he's, it's not that surprising. And, who wouldn't take advantage of being a Kennedy to run for office? So I think at the end of the day, yes, he's getting this platform. He's getting a lot more attention than, quite frankly, anyone else in that race currently at this juncture, to be, a relatively political novice, if you will, never running for office before. But, God bless them. And the voters in New York City have a decision on their hands.
And Mark Caputo, listen to what Jerry Nadler, who again has been in this seat for a very, very long time, what he said when asked about the potential for Schlossberg to run for his seat in September of this year.
The Kennedy, unlike Schlossberg, should be somebody with a record of public service, a record of public accomplishment, and he doesn't have one.
Mark Caputo?
Well, Jerry Nadler is being put out to pasture for a reason. His day is over. And it's younger candidates like Jack Schlossberg who are ascendant. Whether he wins or not, who knows? To piggyback off of what Tia just said, can you imagine just being a candidate and getting the New York Times to do these profiles of you and then be talked on a CNN panel? I mean, talk about an advantage for him. The other advantage of the Kennedy name is sort of in the inverse, which is he became better known in sort of conventional political circles because of his cousin, RFK. He was the Kennedy who went out and attacked RFK for being kooky and wild and crazy. So he's being seen as sort of the good Kennedy to restore the Democratic name to the brand of the family. And I think his social media skills, his family pedigree, and the fact that we in the news media can't really look away certainly advantages him way more than other candidates. And whatever Jerry Nadler happens to mutter at a certain point or other doesn't really matter because, again, that brand of politics is largely descending.
Let's talk about the Jack Schlossberg era of American politics. President Kennedy's grandson, Jack Schlossberg, announcing he's going to run for Congress here in Manhattan. Jerry Nadler's district encompasses the Empire State Building, the Upper East Side, Central Park, a big part of Manhattan now. Schlossberg, and we should be showing video of this right now, is basically a social media influencer. He spends a lot of time on TikTok, some 800,000 followers. Head to your computer to check it out. Here we go. This is him. All kinds of videos all the time. And this is basically his gig. I mean, he's written some articles for Vogue and whatnot and other things. How do you feel about this? Family name, social media, is that the recipe for the Democratic future?
I mean, maybe, but I don't know about another social media influencer in Congress. There's a lot of kind of social media performance that goes on in Congress already. And walking over here, I passed about 9 other candidates for that House seat, so it's not a lock by any means.
So Jerry Nadler himself, the retiring Democrat, had a really interesting conversation with Kate a little while ago when Schlossberg was thinking about running. Listen to what he said.
There's nothing particularly good or bad about a Kennedy holding my seat, but the Kennedy, unlike Schlossberg, should be somebody with a record of public service, a record of public accomplishment, and he doesn't have one. So I don't think he's going to be a candidate in the end, and he certainly is not going to be a major candidate.
Well, Nadler was wrong. He is a candidate, Scott.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's a free country. I guess everybody's allowed to run, and the way you get attention these days in some of these Democratic primaries is to be a social media influencer, to try to do, attention-seeking, outrageous things that have nothing to do with public service or issues. I don't know whether it's good or bad for the Democratic Party. They seem to have no real clear direction to me right now.
Is it a party thing or is it a political thing? Because I do think that the social media influencing isn't, sort of a nonpartisan issue. We're in this new era where attention seems to be the main commodity.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of congressional hearings where there are people posing for social media. There is no doubt. They're asking ridiculous questions. They're making speeches. They're doing it so they can post this stuff online. And this is a very bipartisan problem. Plenty of Republicans doing this.
I mean, I don't know if it's a problem to communicate with people. I guess the question would be, what are you communicating? And, what do you stand for? Why is it, what is motivating you to be in this particular race? I think ultimately that's what most voters want to know. I'm not entirely sure what's motivating him other than he thinks it's the family business, which I'm not certain is a great argument for voters these days. We just had the No Kings rally. I don't know if he still thinks the monarchy is good here, passing these things down through the family, but ultimately he's going to have to make an argument. And typically it's not good enough to just to say, well, I'm on your screen. That's a good enough argument to put me in Congress. You have to have something to say, and I don't know what that's going to be for him, but we'll see.